There is a peculiar moment in every person's life, a turning point we rarely recognize while it is happening. You might be living that moment right now without fully realizing it. If you've been feeling an unusual restlessness lately, as if you were standing at the edge of something indefinable, if small details of your daily life have begun to bother you in ways you can't explain, then what I'm about to share may help you name what you've been experiencing. This is not about grand promises or magical formulas. It's about understanding the signals your own being sends when a genuine transformation is about to unfold. First sign, productive discomfort. The first sign is not exactly pleasant. It's that feeling that you no longer fit into the spaces that once seemed perfect. Conversations that used to excite you now feel shallow. Environments that once felt familiar begin to feel heavy. You catch yourself questioning choices you made years ago and never thought to revisit. This discomfort is not a sign that something is wrong with you. It is the opposite. It is evidence that you are outgrowing the contours of your current life. Like a plant in need of a bigger pot, you are feeling the limits of the structure you have built so far. Most people interpret this as crisis or dissatisfaction and try to suppress these feelings. They retreat into comfort, distract themselves, seek external validation. But those who pay attention to this discomfort discover that it is a map pointing precisely where they need to go. Your soul is telling you there is more. You are capable of more. It is time to expand. Second sign, the hunger for meaning. The second sign is a hunger that cannot be satisfied by entertainment or distractions. You realize you spent months, perhaps years, filling your time without truly nourishing your essence. Suddenly, the app you checked compulsively loses its appeal. Series that once held your attention feel empty. Even social activities that were part of your routine start to feel superficial. In their place, a desire for depth arises. You want real conversations, not just an exchange of words. You want to create something that matters, not just consume. You want authentic connections, not just networks of contacts. This hunger is your spirit reclaiming its space. For too long, you fed it crumbs, and now it demands a feast. It is asking you to invest your vital energy into something that resonates with who you are, not with who you learned to pretend to be. Third sign, natural distancing. Have you noticed that certain people simply disappeared from your life? There were no arguments or dramatic endings, just silence. And the most interesting part? You don't miss them. Relationships that once consumed your energy now feel distant. You no longer feed dynamics that diminish you. You no longer participate in conversations that drain you. You no longer force connections that don't flow naturally. This is not coldness or indifference. It is discernment. It is your internal navigation system recalibrating your relationships based on who you are becoming, not who you were. At the same time, new people begin to appear, not because you're chasing them, but because of energetic alignment. You attract those who vibrate at the same frequency as your transformation. Conversations flow, ideas connect, collaborations arise organically. You are learning a fundamental truth. As you evolve, your circle naturally reorganizes itself. Some leave, others arrive, and the ones who stay deepen. Fourth sign, emerging clarity. Something curious happens during true transformation. The mental fog you carried for years begins to dissipate. Decisions that paralyzed you for weeks now resolve themselves in hours. You simply know what to do, even if you can't logically explain it. Your intuition, once muffled under layers of doubt and external opinions, finally finds its voice. This clarity does not come from more information or better analysis. It comes from silencing the noise. When you stop seeking approval, when you stop comparing yourself, when you stop living on autopilot, a different kind of intelligence awakens. You begin to trust yourself in a way you never trusted before, not with arrogance, but with a quiet certainty. You know that even if you make mistakes, you will handle the consequences. You know that your ability to adapt and grow is greater than any specific obstacle. Fifth sign, The return of old ghosts. Here is something that catches many people off guard. Just when you think you've overcome certain patterns, they return with force. Old habits you thought you had eliminated reappear. Fears you believed you had conquered resurface. Sometimes, even people from your past re-enter your life as if testing whether you have truly changed. This is not a sign of regression. It is a test of consolidation. Life is checking whether your transformation is superficial or deep. It is asking, have you really changed, or were you just behaving differently for a while? The difference now is that you have a choice. Before, these patterns controlled you automatically. Now you recognize them, you see them coming, and you can consciously choose not to dance the old dance. Every time you choose to respond differently to the same trigger, you solidify your new identity. You prove to yourself that the transformation is real, not just theory or good intentions. It is change embodied in your way of being. Sixth sign, paradoxical gratitude. And then a surprising moment arrives. You look back and feel grateful for the hardest things you lived through. It's not forced or toxic gratitude like everything happens for a reason. It's something deeper. It's the realization that every experience, no matter how painful, taught you something essential for this present moment. That job that exhausted you taught you your limits. That relationship that hurt you taught you your worth. That failure that humiliated you taught you your resilience. You would not relive those experiences, but you would not erase them either, because they sculpted who you are today. Every wound became wisdom. Every loss became freedom. Every fall became strength. This gratitude is not an endpoint. It is a sign that you have transcended the victim narrative and assumed the role of protagonist in your own story. You are no longer at the mercy of what happened. You are in control of what you will do with what happened. If these signs resonate with you, know that you are exactly where you need to be. Transformation does not happen all at once. It happens in layers, in waves, in cycles of expansion and integration. There is no hurry. There is no finish line. There is only the next step, and then the next, and then the next. And in this, there is a wisdom that J.R.R. Tolkien deeply understood when crafting his epic narratives. In his stories, the most transformed characters are not those who set out in search of power or glory. They are those who answer a call they barely understand, who walk through darkness with no guarantee of victory, who persist not because they know they will win, but because giving up would betray their own essence. Tolkien showed that the true journey is never merely geographical, it is always internal. The hobbits do not return home by simply crossing miles. They return as fundamentally different people, carrying an awareness that no longer fits in the small, safe life they once knew. And although part of them longs for lost simplicity, another part, the part that truly matters, knows that they were forged for something greater, that the journey, with all its trials, was not a detour from life, but life itself in its truest form. Your journey is like that. It is not an event. It is a journey with no way back. And in the end, you will discover that you were never trying to become someone else. You were simply removing everything that kept you from being who you have always been. Your journey has begun. Trust the process. Trust yourself.